What's up, YouTube? Mini Minchino here, and welcome back to another Minnycast. For those who are new, this is the weekly podcast vlog type show where I share with you some updates and talk about something for a little while. And to be honest, I'm not sure how long today's Minnycast is going to be. It's probably going to be fairly short. I'm sorry there wasn't one last week. There were some technical difficulties, and I really did not like how the last minicast came out, so I'm like, I'm not gonna upload something that I'm not proud of. And I apologize for there being any background noise. I'm gonna try to cut out as much of it as I can, but it sounds like somebody's doing something outside, and I'm not sure what it is. It's very inconvenient timing, but we're gonna roll with it. It'll be fine, hopefully. But yeah, I've actually got a couple updates for y'all this week. Not a whole ton. I am thinking about experimenting with Twitch ever since the charity live stream and stuff the one time. I figured, you know what, things went pretty well, I feel like. So I'm thinking about moving my streams over to there. But I am not abandoning the channel by any means, and I still haven't fully decided if I want to make the switch over. We're working. It's just a thought that I'm having at the moment. Until I make that switch, live streams will still continue on the channel and stuff like that. Also happening on the channel is I'm starting 2 new series, one of which will be live streamed, and the other will be another traditional Let's Play. I'm finally getting back into something other than Minecraft for Let's Plays and such. So, I'm actually really excited about that. And honestly, it kind of ties into today's topic, actually. And I'm here to talk to you guys today about creative block. You know, like those times where you start doing something and then you just kind of run into a wall. Like, say you like to do a lot of, you know, story writing and stuff like that, and then just, you know, at some point you just kind of hit a wall and you can't really come up with anything, and you're just not really sure, or sometimes you just kind of like lose your passion for it temporarily, and you're just not really sure if you want to keep rolling with it for the time being. And you know, a lot of times the best way to deal with that is just to take a break and move on to something else for a little bit and then come back to it with a fresh mind. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm starting to be at with Unknown Empire, which is unfortunate. Now, I do still have ideas. The problem is I don't know which one to do first, and I've kind of just like hit a wall going like, I don't know what I want to do. I have an idea, and I still want to continue trying and doing my best with it. I have an idea for my next live stream and stuff like that. Now, I'm sure things will change once Season 3 hits. It'll be a fresh start for everything, and there will be story stuff again, and hopefully I'll be able to deal with that and, you know, put out some, you know, some more decent content for y'all. Because I do feel like my channel's been in a little bit of a lull. I don't think my content has been bad necessarily, but I do feel like it could be better, and I do feel like part of that is due to the lack of variety. And I think at this point, I'm gonna be sticking to the minicast as much as I can. I don't know if I'm gonna make it a weekly series anymore. I don't know if it's gonna stay weekly. I want it to stay weekly, but I don't know if it's going to. But I'm gonna be streaming more games. I did a Splatoon stream a while back, and that did bring in some new people. So hello to you guys. Great to have you, actually. And so I want to do a little bit more of that. I may reserve casual stuff like that for experimenting with Twitch, and then sticking with Unknown Empire and my new series for this, which I might as well announce the 2 things, I guess. So, like I said, I have a proper Let's Play going on, because I could stream both of these games, but I do like making videos, and I like editing them and doing stuff like that, and, you know, I want to get back to that a little bit, because I've been a little bit off on that lately for the past while, actually. It's been a very long time, and, you know, I feel like a lot of that's been due to a lot of emotional stuff, and a lot of you guys know about that, and I feel like, you know, I'm just gonna kind of dive back into what I used to do. Which is weird to say, because I haven't technically stopped, but, like, I've been in a weird block at a weird point, and I'm just like, I'm gonna add in some new stuff. So I guess this should have been with the updates, but you know, I go into these without properly planning out what I'm going to talk about and what I'm going to say, so you know, it's fine. It's totally fine. I'm going to be Let's Playing Paper Mario, the N64 version. I got my Wii U running up, back up and running again. Running up? It's running up the wall, I guess. Sure. Yeah, I got that back up and running again, and I've got, you know, a couple virtual console games to go through and such, so, you know, gonna be having some fun with that, and I may consider getting some more virtual console games in the future. So who knows, actually. Possibly, you know, in the vein of, you know, N64 and stuff like that, because the Switch does not have N64 on their library yet. Which is just completely, honestly, that bothers me. But that's neither here nor there. I'm getting off topic. We're doing Paper Mario as our next Let's Play, and our stream series to go alongside Unknown Empire and, you know, Splatoon, Mario Kart, and whatever else I feel like playing. It's gonna be Ocarina of Time. That's gonna be the main series. So I got 2 main stream series and just several casual things depending on what I feel like doing. And then, you know, another Let's Play, and then the Minnycast. So, you know, we're getting some content back up and running, and I'm thinking of slotting in the Let's Play videos on the days where I don't stream, or at least most of them. I'm still thinking I'm going to not put anything out on weekends, just to give me time to actually do the stuff. But I'm actually very, very excited about it, and I think it's going to help push me past this block that I'm having, because I'm doing something different. There's something else to think about. And there's, you know, there's just a lot. There's just going to be more going on, and it's going to be like a whole different thing, which I'm very excited about. And I'm sure you can tell, because I'm not going to lie, that's kind of happening with the Minnycast too. I do have like this list of topics that I came up with and stuff like that, but every single time I look at the list, I just run into this wall, and I'm like, I don't know which one of these I want to do. Because I think I go down each one, like one of them's like, oh, talk about the white cane. And then I'm like, I mean, what am I going to say about the white cane? Honestly. I mean, I feel like I could say a lot. But like, I don't know. And like, maybe I will eventually talk about it. It's nothing, you know, that's not to say I'm going to dismiss the topic, because I do still think it's a good idea. And there's a lot I could say. I'm just like, how am I going to explain this? And it's kind of whack because so many people have explained it before, so, you know, it really shouldn't be that hard of a thing for me, but again, just sort of hit this wall, and that sucks, and I think, again, having that little extra variety happening is going to help get past it a little bit, because then I'll be, you know, my attention will be focused on something else for a little bit, and then I'll have, you know, that chance to give my mind a break from what I'm struggling with, because I've always noticed that if you're having trouble with something, you take a break from it, you do something else for a bit, and then you come back to it with a fresh mind, and all of a sudden everything is definitely clearer. And it's kind of great, honestly. It's pretty great, because then, you know, you get back to it and you're like, yes, I'm into this, and stuff like that. And, I mean, if you're lucky, you'll be able to push through it regardless. There was a point in Unknown Empire history where Season 2 did sort of reach a dead zone for a little bit. And by dead zone, I mean, like, only a few of us were active at the time, because lots of people just had life stuff going on, so they couldn't be on as actively and things like that. So story took a backseat and everything, because people had work, people had school. People were just running into a lot of burnout at that point, and only a few of us kept going. And I almost gave up at that point, because that was the point where I was still, like, when I first colonized Madeira and was trying to figure out what to do with it. It wasn't even called Madeira at that point. Actually, it probably was. It was right around the time it was named, honestly. Dealing with all the trees and how much of a nightmare that was and everything like that, like, it was just like a task, and I felt like I couldn't do as much content-wise with it until I dealt with them. So I did manage to stick through it, though, and I do feel like, you know, those videos were still pretty good. all things considered. But I did kind of run into that at that point, and I was able to push through it, which was really, really lucky. So, you know, sometimes people are able to do stuff like that, and that's great to me. Others aren't quite as lucky sometimes, because sometimes it's just like, you know, sometimes it's just hard it's a hard hurdle to get over, honestly. So I totally understand when people have trouble with that kind of thing. It's like, you know what, I've run into a little bit of writer's block, or I don't know, designer's block. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. It's just creative block in general, and you know, I feel like it's a very natural thing for anybody that creates anything to go through at some point. And that doesn't mean you've lost your interest. It doesn't mean you've lost your edge. It just means that maybe you just need a little bit of a break for a while. Like you know, take a break for about a week or two, and just kind of maybe do something else for a bit, or you know, or take a back seat. Look at what other people have done in that same vein. Maybe that'll give you some inspiration. I like to do that regardless, because I do think that there is a lot to learn from other people in terms of, you know, similar stuff. Like, you know, I'll look at other Minecraft YouTubers, not only as an entertainment source for me, because I love watching Minecraft videos just in general. But I do find that while you're watching them, you get this opportunity to learn new build styles and just learn new tips and tricks on how to play the game better and stuff like that, and you know, learn how to build better, and you know, incorporate different things into designs that you come up with yourself, or maybe learn different methods on how to come up with different designs and such, because everybody's got their own way of doing something, and it's really cool to learn about that kind of thing. And sometimes giving it, you know, taking that same idea from a different approach can really get your mind going in a different direction to help you, like, inspire you to think of other things, which I do also think that's a good way to go to get over creative block. And that doesn't just apply to Minecraft and YouTube in general. That applies to anything, whether you're writing a book, you know, whether you're, I don't know, a fashion designer. Maybe look at other people's designs and things, and maybe you can pick up some tricks. That's not to say you should copy those designs necessarily. Like, you shouldn't, you know, that's plagiarism if you're just outright copying people's stuff. But, you know, you can get some ideas. Maybe you're like, I can think of an interesting spin on this sort of idea. And obviously, you know, you credit your source and stuff like that. But, you know, it's like, I go back to Minecraft because that's kind of my thing at the moment. You know, I look at it and I go, okay, what if I build like a little house, right? There's tons of ways to build a little house. It could be like a little brick house. It's got, like, you know, your typical square roof, or not your square, your typical triangle pointed roof kind of thing. Maybe you decide you want to throw a chimney in there. Maybe you decide that the entire wall should not be made of brick. Maybe you decide that you're using, you know, spruce stairs instead of oak stairs for the roof, or maybe you're using a combination. Maybe you're not even using stairs for the roof because you saw some design online that used, you know, slabs and other stuff, which is also really cool, and you're like, hey, I can, you know, make this look a little bit more dynamic and, you know, have a cool thing to it, you know. And, like, the thing is a lot of people get uppity about having original ideas and stuff like that. And honestly, I think the thing is about that is many ideas, especially nowadays, are very derivative of other existing ideas. That's not a bad thing, in my opinion. You can still, like, I'm not saying that original ideas don't exist, but I'm saying maybe try doing something unique with a concept that's already been done, despite the fact that it may not be an original idea, you know? Sometimes not being original is not a bad thing, you know? It really depends on how you work with it and stuff like that. But I think just simply shooting down an idea just because it's not wholly original is kind of a shame, because then sometimes maybe you'll miss out on an original idea based on that concept. You never know. There's something can be derived from anything, anywhere. So, you know, I think it's important to, you know, if you're having that block, or in general, honestly, just look at other people, look at what they're doing. Maybe that'll get you some ideas. And, you know, if you choose not to just take a break and let your brain, you know, set, or you can do that while taking a break, you know? I don't know, that's just my thoughts on it. And that's partly why I've decided, you know what, I'm just going to dive back into doing other series on my channel and stuff, which I have been wanting to get back into doing anyway, but I have been, you know, recently inspired to, I'm just like, you know what, I really want to play Paper Mario. So, I'm gonna play Paper Mario. You know what I mean? And who knows, maybe I'll see some, like, I've played that game many times before. It is a great game. Maybe I'll see something in that game that, yes, I may have seen before, but will give me, like, some inspiration for a build or something. It's like, hey, what if I build something like this? Sometimes, I've noticed a lot of times, actually, when I'm out and about, I'll look at a building. And I don't know if it's just because I play Minecraft too much, but I'll be like, what would happen if I built this in Minecraft? What would it look like? And I will, like, start imagining it in my head. It's like, oh, maybe there's smooth stone slabs going across this thing with a window directly under it, and maybe these walls, instead of, you know, it being like concrete, which it is in real life, I could use something of a similar color, like maybe I make it stone bricks instead or something like that, you know? And then I start, like, imagining this building in my head, going like, hey, what if I were to build this on, like, in a creative world and stuff like that. And honestly, that's kind of how I came up with building the house that I'm building right now in Creative Builds. Or not Creative Builds. This is not Creative Builds. The Minnycast. I actually use that concept for Creative Builds as well. I started out with building a modified version of my apartment and I guess my ex's apartment now. And I combined them into a big house, and it was really, really cool. I do think I still have that world, actually, and I am actually quite proud of that world. And then I started going into other things, because I'm like, ooh, what if I did this? At the time, I was being recommended a lot of, like, house building tutorials on YouTube and stuff, and a lot of them were, like, cave homes and stuff like that, and I was looking, I was, recommended a lot of stuff about tiny homes and things like that, and then there was just this whole thing about cave homes and other stuff as well, so they kind of both intersected. I was like, what if I made a cave home? So I made a cave home. Then the next build on that world was loosely based on a tutorial that Wells Knight had made on his process for building a house and stuff like that, and I ended up deviating quite heavily from that tutorial, but at least the starting concept was loosely based on what he'd come up with, and some of the tips that he gave in that particular video and stuff like that. So, you know, it all the ideas came from somewhere, you know what I mean? Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It actually, to me, it's, you know, it's quite good to keep your mind open and look at new ideas and stuff like that, even if they aren't original in concept. But I don't know, that's just me. I would definitely love to hear your thoughts on this, though. But, yeah, I don't know, those are just all the things that I like to do when I hit a creative block and stuff like that. It happens to everyone, it happens to the best of us. And, I mean, if you're going through a creative block right now, I'd love to hear some of your strategies for getting through it, or how you deal with it in general, because some people get very, very discouraged, and I think that's unfortunate when they get discouraged enough that they give up on something that they really enjoyed and things like that. So if this ever happens to you, if it hasn't already, don't give up on it. Taking a break does not mean giving up. It's a tactical retreat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know. But that's just me, and I realize I rambled a lot in today's episode. Like I said, I just sort of, I'm dealing with a bit of creative block myself, so my brain is kind of all over the place, and just, I'm doing my best to get through it and things like that. And I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to talk about it since I'm experiencing it at the moment. So there is that. But yeah, you guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts either in the comments or on Discord, or I guess Twitter if that's where you prefer. Excuse me. But yeah, feel free to share your feedback and thoughts and things of that nature. And yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and end off today's minicast before I start looping on myself even more than I already have. So I'm gonna go ahead and say thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to check out any other series I have on this channel, as well as joining the Minchino clan on Discord if you haven't already. Link to that will be in the description down below. And until next time, Minny out.